All right, hello. Welcome to the London Open session on Tuesday, July 14th, 2026. CPI day later today. Let's go to the daily. We cleared the sell liquidity below the bodies here. And we are trading into this week currently. Taking the previous day's low already. And rejecting that slightly on NQ. Near term, forming a bullish breaker, a low, a high, a lower low, run higher, the last up close candle here, that's the bullish breaker. So with that said, I would be expecting a measure of drawing into that first, and then a measure of reaction, measure of bullishness to be found around the breaker. Right, buy liquidity from yesterday, pretty smooth, resting up there. This is the first presented fair value gap from the aim session. So that's also a reasonable draw on the upside for the price. We have this breaker here. Yes, taking short-term low, sell side here. But I got to notice that the Asian session into the midnight transition delivered quite a price run so far. So that might be an argument against expecting any larger expansions during this London Open session, while also keeping in mind that we have CPI numbers later today at 8:30, which will be the main driver for today's trading. And we have some Fed chairman testifying. So yeah, morning session will be definitely volatile due to that. Let's see, MES. At some old new week opening up. Traded to some measure of a discount too. Too clean of a buy side still, I believe. Yes, he's holding rather strongly. A low, lower low, similar structure with the breaker and overlapping with the NWOC. But yes, has some sell side that's very smooth to go to on the downside. Because it has not only those relative equal lows, but it has also those relative equal lows here. And taking the fact that in terms of the current range, that we are trading in. We are technically in a premium here. Just a shallow discount was touched. While Nasdaq I would prefer to see higher. In Nasdaq, in my opinion, matched the minimum criteria for going higher. ES, I wouldn't mind if ES would make a lower low here and attack this sell-side liquidity at least. That would make sense for me though. So yeah, there is this breaker, but I would say that also could have been just a stop hunt on the buy side, and it could maybe roll over and attack the sell side liquidity below this low. That's kind of how it feels though for me right now. It clears buy side liquidity here. That was smooth. Made a high, low, higher high, broke below that, so that's a breaker in itself. Then return to some premium inefficiency here. Sold off nicely. Keeps on going lower. So yeah, it definitely, yes, I would still prefer those lows to be attacked. So yes, I'm more bearish, more clearly. Nasdaq also could go lower for sure, yeah. But Nasdaq I would be more apt to give it a chance to trade higher off of that breaker maybe. It feels like though. But yeah. But nonetheless, if that's the case, if that's said here, then I think I have something to watch for the long open session though. And I will be watching this ES idea potentially going lower. This was a rather like low resistance liquidity run to the upside. So we shouldn't have too much problems to go through that after all. Maybe a little bit difficulties here. We'll see though. But I'm thinking lower ES near term. This is the sell side liquidity that might be the draw on liquidity. So that's kind of makes sense. That kind of makes sense. So now waiting for the 3 a.m. to hit. And yeah, I will obviously still monitor Nasdaq and its approach into the breaker. Same as I will monitor the ES and its approach into the breaker. ES is technically trading into the breaker right now. Yeah, but yes, definitely looks suspect when it comes to any upside. All right, so we have the current, I mean, that's not the current, that's the previous NWalk, I believe. Previous week's NWalk. And that's also like a array that I will be willing to use. 3 a.m. started just now. We are losing ground to the downside through that NWalk. So I technically like to see that. I technically like to see a measure of displacement here. So let's see. Let's see what we will get. Generally moving outside of this NWalk, then any comebacks, I would like to see price being capped in the lower half. Potentially, Nasdaq is stretching towards the breaker too. So that will be generally interesting because Nasdaq, I'm slightly favoring higher prices, slightly more. Yes, I'm slightly more favoring lower prices. So that's already a little bit of a conundrum here. And it's not that easy and or not maybe as obvious, but that's kind of what I'm trying to weather out here. We traded below the NWalk with a week, no close below it yet. This looks somewhat heavy here, but not gonna lie, I would like to see a measure of a Judas higher after 3 a.m., right? So I would like to see a rally that will fail and then maybe roll over, something like that. Something like that is on my mind. All right, so now we close below the NWalk here. So I'm curious to see any returns into it should be resisted, should be rejected inside of the lower half. So that's what I'll be eyeballing here. And let's see. 3 a.m. silver will started. And I'm thinking about ES drawing below this low near term. All right, good. We are seeing some reaction here, but we already close below the NWOC here also. Quite a nice up candle, quite a nice rally. Let's see if it can form or maintain an efficiency here. Let's see, it's going like over the NWOC quadrants here. So I'm watching this closely now. All right, so this BC at 304 is basically the first presentation for the 3 a.m. silver bullet. And because I'm favoring lower as the draw on liquidity right now, the way how I would like to engage this is after price turns eventually and doesn't take this high out, I would like to see this act as a bearish inversion for value gap and potentially use this or use that for a potential short to attack the sell side liquidity down there. That's kind of like the idea that I have in my mind right now, and let's see if that will be if that will hold any validity to it. So yeah, generally I'm thinking of this as a fake rally higher that could or should be faded going forward into the session. That's kind of like the idea of mine. Yes, I know that they did, but I think or I feel like yes still has a little bit more room to go on the downside where very clear sales liquidity resides. So that that cleared previous day's low, but it didn't necessarily made enough work on the downside in my opinion. So that's what I'm favoring for ES. And I'm talking ES more strictly because Nasdaq I do favor higher though. I'm not interested in Nasdaq going lower though. But yes, I'm willing to see, to watch and see and give it that that possibility though. So let's see. Good morning, don't you, Christian? sell today. I'm looking for ES shorts currently. But it requires more some more information though. So yep. Right, so 2-minute chart shows this one clear, beautiful busy here. Just like that. Right, initially I'm thinking about something like this, but we have a small little bearish fair value gap right there with a suspension block. I like this one too. Kind of like this one too. Right, so I will use the 310 bearish fair value gap here with basically the same stop that I would use here in terms of size, but it's way up there, so I can feel a little bit. I mean, I have a little bit of room here, so if it's gonna be looking bad, then I might be able to save the stop. But nonetheless, I like this bearish fair value gap here, and I like the idea of seeing this got sliced through. So let's see, because you end up like this. This looks somewhat like a bull flag that I would love to see it just fail. Let's see. So this is technically where I would like to take some partials though. All right, so these are the orders prepared. Partial here, full target there, stop loss above this high and some above. But yeah, what I want to see is the price to just lose its ground and smash through this 304 BC, and then use it as inversion fair value gap and stay heavy, basically. Stay heavy. Use also the new week opening gap as a means of resistance too. So that's kind of what I'm anticipating. So yeah, we moved up. If we could turn around here, slice through this, and then use it as means of resistance and seek lower prices altogether. I mean, I have left quite a bit of a room for this position though, just in case. But yeah, we'll see. Now we are trading into this, so I want to really smash right on through it. No discount sensitivity whatsoever. Just nail and close below it. That's what I want to see. All right, tapping into this BC. I really just want to see it covers that with a large range to the downside. Ideally also closing below the NWOC. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And yeah, let's give it the the room to do so, potentially. All right, so spending a little bit of time here around this busy first presentation, technically. Holding inside the upper half so far, but I really am waiting for the price to just smash right on through that and close below it. That's what I want to see. That's when I will feel on site, and that's what I kind of require to see, to expect the price roll in my direction and roll towards my objectives. Otherwise it can become a little bit unruly. But let's see, we got the close below the consecutive encroachment. The next candle would ideally close below it. So let's see, we are approaching the low, so that's good. No discount sensitivity preferred, and just lose some ground here. All right, we are trading outside of it. That's exactly what I wanted to see. And now as we close below it, as we go below it, this should act as a measure of resistance that should hold price away from trading higher again. Let's see if we can see that close. We trade to the low of the NWOC with the week and a little bit of reaction. Not a huge fan of that. But all right, so we failed to close outside of it. That's not what I wanted to see necessarily, but we left this weak, this little weak. And what I would like to see next is to attack this week and hopefully quickly close below consecutive encroachment. Then that's the signature that I'm looking for in terms of overall market structure. But let's see, Nasdaq also did a little bit of a reaction here. Nasdaq clearly looks stronger. It couldn't even reach the breaker, so it has a little bit of room there. ES clearly looks weaker, I would say. All right. A lot of back and forth price action. I'm not a fan of that for sure. But I like how the high of this inversion for value gap is somewhat respected here with the bodies. Return into the CB and this inversion here. Quite reasonable, I would say. Well, I mean, definitely feels a little bit problematic here at this moment. So much time spent inside of this inefficiency. That's the first thing. Rejected this NWOC low. It might be making an attempt to make a higher high here, I suppose. And with this type of structure, that maybe that would be, I mean, maybe that could be permissible in a sense. But I guess we'll see and we'll watch how it does eventually. I like the reaction off of the NWOC high. I like that the body closed here above it, yes, but the next one opened below it. That's a little signature I like to see. But again, I'm still waiting for this 304 inefficiency to get traded below on a closing basis. And that should warrant a continuation lower on this little idea here. Otherwise, we are just caught inside of some measure of consolidation, which, yeah, I don't like. Okay, we can clearly see SMT on the highs here between ES and Nasdaq. ES making lower highs, Nasdaq making higher highs. So ES is weaker as expected. Nasdaq is stronger as expected. So with that SMT here, I want to see it smash very aggressively lower. And I don't want to make a higher high on ES with that. I don't think it's necessary though. So if we can close below this inversion fair value gap, I will trim my stop loss to above this high here. And I will trust that it should not get attacked or breached near term. Approaching the low, still no close below it. Still no close below it. A little annoying though. Also trade into this week, still not close below the consecutive encroachment there. I'm thinking that we can fix that soon. Closed at the low of the inefficiency and still not close below consecutive encroachment. I'm giving it 1 more minute or 2 to see if it can perform that. Otherwise, it really becomes some ugly. But other than that, everything looks pretty decent for this to deliver lower. All right, so we are taking this low out now. I want to trim my stop loss to above this high. And now I'm clearly looking for expansion. I'm really looking for expansion on the downside. I don't want to see any returns. I don't like to come back all the way up and not close inside this inefficiency. That's somewhat annoying. Well, I don't like this close here. We went below it, below this low, almost approached this low, not quite yet, and came all the way up into this inefficiency and close inside of it. That's not what I want to see. And I would be only comforted by the price if we could destroy this week that we just made. If we can destroy that right away, then I'm content and I'm thinking, yes, I'm on site, definitely. If not, then this is still kind of like feeling too iffy. Yeah, and this dip deep of a retracement like this. That's really not nice. Relative equal lows left. Right, talk to me. Yes, talk to me. Come on, give me that one large candle to the downside now, and I'll be content. Well, this is very annoying price action to sit through, generally. I also feel like I'm running a little bit out of time. So really, it's on the clock to start perform something in my favor. Otherwise, I'll be more apt to just, close the position because it's not moving. And I apparently can't make it move by myself. So yeah, I mean, this is a sloppy market. Well, let's see if this candle can finally breach and close below the consecutive encroachment of that week. We see a close below the BC for the first time, but now it needs to close below that week's consecutive encroachment too. But yeah, nonetheless, I'm looking for this to perform now as it closed below this inversion fair value gap. So this should act as a resistance now. It should not be permitted to go to the upper half. It's technically also a balanced price range because we spent a lot of time up and down, close below consequent encroachment and new week opening up. That's good. So now let's see if we can manage to make a slide lower, attacking the near-term sales liquidity, ratifical lows, and drawing towards the old low down there. That's the idea. And now let's see how it delivers, if it delivers, and what could I potentially squeeze out of it. So yeah, now I want to even trim my stop loss slightly lower to around above consecutive encroachment of this inversion here. That's where my stop loss is. But nonetheless, I want to see it completely lose the ground below those equal lows here and keep on going towards the old low. So yeah, I guess after we decisively take the sell side here and we are engaging that right now, I can move my stop loss to completely break even, I think. I mean, that's what I would like to do though. That's what I would do in low resistance, and I would be confident about that. In here, I'm slightly less confident because it's pretty messy price action overall. All right, I feel like I need to secure the break even here overall, because yeah, it either has to perform in my way right now, or I'm just getting caught in a very poor condition where it just consolidates. I really think it should be losing ground at the moment if it's good, and it has no reason to trade all the way up above this inversion at this moment. unless it's just going bad for me. So yeah, break even is secured nonetheless. And now I'm looking for the first partial here. And that's my final target. Well, I like that. I like that expansion. That's good. That's exactly what I wanted to see. So let's see. I mean, I would prefer to see a continuous expansion lower here. I'm not really a huge fan of any retracements that are deep or anything like that. Because yeah, taking into consideration the fact that this delivery here is quite high resistance, then the retracements are likely to be deeper than I would like. But I submit to the idea that the inversion fair value gap coupled with the NWAC should offer a measure of resistance that should keep the price in bay and just don't allow it to trade higher. And if it does even, then I'm glad to take the break even then, while still allowing this whole idea to pan out as I intended. So I like that return to the NWAC low and fail to reach the inversion fair value gap. Rejection here would be somewhat optimal. But yeah, admittedly, these are difficulties here. Admittedly, the CPI later today, the price is likely to get squarely, I believe, overall. So that's like another reason why I don't want to marry this idea. But still, making some lower lows, that would be what I would look for. To take a partial or something like that. To squeeze the risk a little bit tighter. Let's see though. It needs to react here bearishly. If I'm correct on my assumptions and stuff, so this is like a key moment. Yeah, already taking into consideration the fact what I've seen so far and the close above consecutive encroachment here, this doesn't bode really well at all in my mind. I'm allowing for that moho because yes, the conditions are poor, but I'm also knowing that this can easily get stopped out on even here, and yeah, not much I can do about that though. So yeah, it either turns around here or yeah, it's going for the stop, which it's likely going for the stop. I feel like it's likely going for it. Well, I mean, it would need to turn around here right away and start seeking lower. If it's any good still. But yeah, my expectation at this moment, my expectations are low in terms of seeing this deliver. I feel like this is already way too deep for my liking, and it's pretty much at my stop here. So break even it is for this session. There we go. So that was a break even stop out. Yeah, there was roughly almost 10 handles, handles without one tick offered. Could have considered something maybe, but my idea was looking for a little bit deeper of a run. Deep retracement. Can it still deliver lower? Maybe, but yeah, it stopped me out here, and that's fine, I guess. I mean, was my stop loss too tight? We'll see. If it turns around just here, then yeah, then my stop loss was probably too tight. But if it keeps and takes this high out, then I'm glad I took the break even pretty much. But yeah, regardless, let's take off those orders. I'm still thinking lower though. Right now, I'm still thinking lower, but it might just take either more time and or deeper retracement than I would like to weather. And that's just, annoying. So I will add one more break even to the counter. Two break even trades. And I'll be content for now. And because this was break even technically, like a no trade almost. I might come back for the AM or PM session later today. We'll see though which one. but I might do something still with it. Well, all right. So let's leave it at that. I'm pretty content of this attempt or try, at least. I mean, I tried. It didn't deliver the way I was looking for, but it didn't resulted in a loss either, which is, I guess, fair enough. It kind of looks like it's turning around here. So if it would leave this, then it should act as a resistance again, this inversion, and send it lower though, if that's the case. Something to watch. Other than that, thank you guys for tuning in today. It was a pleasure as always, and see you next session. Maybe today one more, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. But see you. Bye.